What up, guys? We've got a leg day for you today, and by we, I don't know who I'm talking about. I have a leg day for you today. My training partners have abandoned me. But before I get into this leg day, if you haven't already, please take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, because I promise you won't regret it. Maybe you will, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to do a leg day today. I've actually been waiting to hold off to film another leg day because I was kind of trying to let myself get back to peak performance. But I realized that's stupid. There's some merit to basically every single leg day. And all I mean from peak performance is I had the COVID, same as some people have, and not really from getting it too bad myself, just a couple weeks of taking care of my family, and then just kind of got out of my groove, not eating a whole lot. I actually lost a lot of weight just from not eating, from being busy taking care of the family. And so literally I've been building back up kind of my baseline the past 2-3 weeks. So I'd say I'm about 90% where I normally am. But I want to kind of talk through a little bit of the session, what that looks like, how everybody else can do that. Because regardless of if you just get the normal cold or flu or just a little bit of a break, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you transition back to the gym. And, spoiler alert, it's not super complicated. Some of it is just starting with lower volume. Some of it is staying a little bit short of failure, removing intensifiers, no drop sets, supersets, things like that. And then just take some time, obviously, to, building that stimulus back up. Because a good principle is always as little as possible to produce maximal results. So obviously, if you've been out of the gym for a few weeks, it's not going to take the same amount of stimulus you left off with, coming back in, week 1, week 2, week 3. So again, I'm about 90%. And I've also got a new piece of equipment that I've kind of integrated in the leg day now. I'll talk about what I was using, what I'm using now, kind of the pros and cons of both and the difference. And the reality is they're both great. So it's just squat patterns going from a hack squat to a pendulum squat. But I'll kind of talk through both of those a little bit as well, too, as far as some of the normal stuff that I do. So here we go. Let's get at it. All right, guys, so leg day today, just kind of walking through some of it. Like I said, I'm about 90%, so I really felt that was a pretty good workout. So started with my biggest movements, banded Rdls. Again, because of the range of motion covered there, because of the profile, that's the whole point of the bands, is basically normally as an exercise stacks. As that bar path gets closer to the train joints, the torque at those train joints drops off, which if the torque drops off, means obviously it's less challenging. So again, torque is a combination of load and moment arms. So since you can't change the moment arm as you go to the top, I can increase the load as I come to the top. So again, it's not like a huge deal. Obviously Rdls without a band still work amazingly. It's just a little bit more of an argument for efficiency. So I love to band those. As a result, I've been able to make great progress just doing one working set there. Of all the places I'll add volume in the workout, that will probably be the last if I really feel like more volume is necessary to keep progressing. So one working set there, you'll see in between, I do some of this like warmy, uppy type stuff. Again, no magic. The whole point of warm-ups, in my opinion, is it's your opportunity to really think and really practice. So some of the points I'm doing some breathing where I really just want to feel isolated TVA contraction. That really helps kind of wake my torso up and helps me feel like I can brace better when I get into working sets. Same thing, just have the hips moving a little bit. You see me doing that dead bug variation, just kind of looking at basically challenging some other torso musculature. And again, just bringing awareness to it. I've in the past, and we'll still call those activations, but basically you could call warm-ups or activations as well too. Basically you need contractions before you can have higher levels of output and higher levels of contractions. So again, it's just another way to warm up, and again, a little bit more strategically, lets me focus on specific parts of my body. And again, I can make a sciencey argument for it, but anecdotally, I just feel like I'm warmed up way faster. You'll see I don't have to do a whole lot of reps when I've actually got a weight in my hands for me to really feel prepped, ready to go, hopefully mitigating the risk for injury as well as being ready for a high level of output. So the top set there was about 90% of where I've been for peak weight, so maybe next week or 2 weeks from there I'll be back to peak load, and then from there trying to hit some PRs. From there moved into my favorite, just for isolating hamstrings, the seated leg curl. I like it the most just because it kind of helps take the hips and the torso out of it and really just whacks the hamstrings to probably 90% of their contractile range. So from their fully lengthened range to just short of their fully shortened range. And then from there, supersetting a pendulum squat and a lying leg curl. Taking my time between going back and forth, working to one top set on the pendulum and then 2 top sets on the lying leg curl. I had 2 top sets on the seated leg curl as well too. As far as the pendulum goes, in my opinion, probably slightly better than a banded hack. And again, banded hack is amazing because again, it takes a little bit of the torso stabilization out of it, pelvis stabilization out of it, same as a pendulum squat does. A banded hack gets heavier as you come to the top. If you look at a pendulum and see where that plate is relative to the axis, as that horizontal distance gets closer, so again, if you're measuring that horizontal distance, which is this distance, from the bottom to the top, it gets shorter to longer. And so again, that's that moment arm thing. So even though the weight stays the same, the bottom is less torque at the bottom, it's lighter, and the top is heavier. So you basically get the same effect that you do from a banded hack without having to mess around with putting bands and shit on it. So it's a very, very efficient exercise, very brutal, and the slight advantage I'll give it, just the relationship of the arcing path and where the foot platform is, it's even less demanding on ankle mobility. So most people can get to depth a lot easier. I really like to bury those because I have no range of motion that's even close to its end, except for my knee. Obviously, and that's what I like to bury, is really smash my hand into my calf, train that fully lengthened quad position, and again, then all the way up to near full knee extension. So it's a lot of range of motion, and again, I can really bury those, and I prefer to bury it and not do a ton of weight. And honestly, that's my second goal on that machine, and it's still kicking my ass. Then from there to finish, kind of some metabolic pump work. I did split squats, heavy top set there, and then did a Prowler push right off of that. So again, as I've been easing back in post-COVID, I'm going to start adding a little bit more metabolic work in. So very simple, one at a time type thing I like to do. So this is the second time I've had the Prowler back in. So probably next week I'll do a split squat again, maybe a drop set off of that, and then maybe add a second round of the Prowler. And again, in my opinion, Prowler is one of the most efficient metabolic pump work type things because it's concentric only and not the demands on recovery that you're going to get from eccentrics. So anyway, that is the workout. Hope you guys appreciate it. Leave some feedback and comments below. And until the next one.